now to a moment we've all been waiting for. And it's not something we're actually excited about. It's something very sad, something very heavy, something, like I said earlier, that scarred the very fabric of our soul as a nation. We're talking about Crimes Untold for the first time from the home of Untold Stories and Francis Wala. The first episode of Crimes Untold, of course, is the story of Rita Waeni. And for the first time as well, her parents are speaking to the media about just how they received and are dealing with the news and ordeal of their daughter's death. Take a look.
I've never even up to date seen Waeni's body physically.
The intention was to ensure that there was no trace of this girl.
Tonight, a young girl is brutally murdered in a prime of her life.
She was a very bright child.
Her badly mutilated body is discovered at a short-stay apartment within Nairobi's Roysambu estate.
The head had been chopped off.
From here to hapa, hizo zimewekwa kwa jwala moja.
Talk about terror with no words to describe.
They tried to cut her hair.
How did this ever happen?
A most unfortunate thing.
Our family is demanding answers in their first ever media appearance.
We don't know why he did that to her.
Rita was battered and butchered.
I cannot explain. Lakini ilikuwa unyama wa hali ya juu.
For us, we for sure knew that we needed to be strong because this would rotate around us anyway, as parents.
For a moment, take a close look at this picture. Her name is Rita Waeni. 5 months ago, her future was as joyful as her personality. But then a man she barely knew came into her life. For more than 2 months, he stalked her. On 13th January 2024, the man invited her for dinner and murdered her. It was one of the most heinous crimes ever committed in Kenya that sent the country into shock.
It was a reckless manner of cutting one's life short.
What happened to Rita is horrible and out of this world.
I cannot explain. Lakini ilikuwa unyama wa hali ya juu.
This is a story we wish we could not report, but it must be told.
I could not imagine anything could have happened to my daughter.
To feel close to her daughter, Rita's mother requested she be buried next to her bedroom.
The grave gives me memories. Every day when I wake up, I see it.
This has become one of the most miserable memories for the family.
When I open the first window, that is what I see. Because I wanted the grave to be just close to me, somewhere where I can be able to be close to my daughter.
When not at work, her mother will visit the beach at the coast. While writing in the sand at the beach might seem just a bit of fun, this gives her deep memories of who Rita was to her. She dearly misses her daughter.
When I look at her pictures, I have so many of them. She liked videos. I check on them. Or like on daily basis, I am there checking on the many occasions we've gone out with her, the many occasions that we stayed in the house, talked.
Rita Waeni had just turned 20 when she was killed by a man who had relentlessly pursued her.
My daughter was very young. She joined university at 17 years. As a young person, maybe she didn't have the capacity to probably think this could be somebody out to harm her.
These are the messages that haunt her mother.
Theirs was a general conversation of just a friend, not somebody whom they were intimate.
The young parents will never get over the pain of failing to protect their daughter from the grip of a violent man.
She was a true friend. She was a friend. This was a waste of her precious life for nothing.
Rita studied at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology.
And she was due to commence her 4th year in January this year. It is when these events occurred
She also had a friend from Strathmore University. Somewhere in July 2023, she was contacted by the friend who we will not reveal her identity. One day, the friend invited Rita to her place within Nairobi West near Magharibi Place. When Rita arrived at the meeting point, the friend requested her to wait for her in the same vicinity within her rented hostel, where the meeting was to happen. In a short while, as Rita stayed put, a stranger appeared from nowhere. The man identified himself to Rita as one Carlton Maina.
The girl had called my daughter to meet. And then because she stays in a place where there was a restaurant, then my daughter was waiting for her from the restaurant. And that is the place where my daughter met Carlton.
And it is between that period of waiting when this person came and approached the girl.
The conversation was very brief.
The girl with whom they had this contact, somewhat, for whatever reason, asked her to wait at some point. And in the meantime, before they could meet, this is when the suspect approached my daughter. And in my thinking, this appears to have been an opportunity for this person possibly to identify this girl.
He then requested to have Rita's Instagram account to make a follow-up communication, and he was granted.
He didn't ask for contact, as you would imagine, maybe a telephone line or a cell phone line, and so they parted ways, and the friend later on came and they continued with their engagements. That was the first encounter between my daughter and this suspect.
Unknowingly, Rita had just made one mistake that would cost her life.
If it was a genuine encounter, the only plausible option would be to ask for a contact number, which he wisely evaded, because this should be somebody who was on a mission and would be careful to cover his steps. A contact line would not be easy would be a sellout, and of course it would mean this person may call you, and that contact trail might be available.
This information is according to Rita's parents, as reported by the said Rita's friend.
Once Waeni got into her house, that is the time Waeni told her that there was a person they had met downstairs and they had shared their IG accounts.
The friend briefed Rita's mother about these developments 2 months later, after Rita's brutal murder and her burial. As part of her revelation, she said she was disturbed by freaking nightmares and hence the need to open up. In her plea, she requested to visit Rita's graveside.
She was uncomfortable, was having nightmares and all that. She really mentioned that to Rita's mother, and that's why she needed to come and maybe visit her graveside. That never happened anyway.
When we were almost having Waeni's birthday on the 28th of March, she wanted to visit the grave, something which shocked me. And that she also said that she had some nightmares about Waeni, and that is why she had to explain to me what she knew.
We found it strange.
The truth that she knew probably was haunting her.
Rita's parents are however perplexed on why the stranger would ask for an Instagram account and not a mobile phone contact while meeting someone for the very first time.
Every other communication from that point was through IG. And there was deliberate effort for the part of this suspect to conceal his identity.
Do you also think Rita's friend who she was visiting on the day she met the suspect in their first encounter was used as a setup?
I can't be sure of that, but it raises questions. Indeed, it's suspicious in the nature it was done.
We contacted the friend.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yes, naitwa Franklin Wala kutoka TV47.
This is what he had to say.
The thing is, I shared all this information with the investigators.
She, however, confirmed Rita might have met the suspect on the day she visited her in July last year.
Yes, at a place called Magharibi.
Oh, so this day Rita was coming to visit you as a normal friend.
Yeah.
On asking more about the meetup, she said investigators had all we wanted. On the other hand, investigators said she did not offer them much.
Everything I have, I told them it's on record. So they can give you that record. Like, they can lift their record and give it to you. And I'm avoiding a situation where my identity might be compromised to people that might want to harm me.
Do you think the girlfriend that Rita was meeting on this specific day when Rita met the suspect is someone who investigators should keenly have a look at?
I have a reason to believe so.
So, what does Rita's friend know? Another blow to investigators is she cannot remember the date the suspect met Rita at Magharibi Place to allow her communication trail be probed.
She informed me that there was a previous boyfriend, Rita's boyfriend, who from January they were not together, and for that reason someone had created an account threatening my daughter, and at the end of the day they came and realized that it was the boyfriend.
More disturbing revelations emerged suggesting Rita's ex-boyfriend had been pursuing her for better part of last year after their gory breakup early 2023. Rita's parents have information that the ex-boyfriend was working and studied at a different university. They say after their daughter broke up with the man who they knew as Kelvin, there were efforts to frustrate Rita. Rita had received threats.
Previous account that had been created and someone was trying to threaten her through the account.
At some point, the ex-boyfriend moved to Juja, and alongside other people, he would forcefully visit Rita's hostel.
I understand the mother of this boy could visit my daughter at a place of residence in Jomo Kenyatta. And this was not something we knew. We only came to learn of it when my daughter talked to her mother about that breakup, about that mother who could visit her at her place, and as well as the threats.
This made life for her unbearable at school.
This meant a bit uneasy because she had to sometimes spend time in Syokimau rather than in college.
The parents learned of this after the demise of their daughter and are now concerned.
Do you think Rita's ex-boyfriend might be a person to be pursued in all this?
You don't close a door until you have really determined the exactness of what you want, and therefore it doesn't hurt if that could be also be an area of interest, really. And if indeed there is no problem, or the person is not associated in any way with this, then there's no problem. I think it's a matter of concern for us, but it is now the work of the investigators.
Have you ever thought maybe Rita's previous boyfriend might be having a hand into this? Has he ever been questioned?
I'm not sure.
Do you think perhaps the investigators should possibly look at him?
Yes, in case they might get the truth from him.
He contacted the said ex-boyfriend. In our quest for answers, we also contacted Rita's close friends at GOtv. They say whatever happened to Rita was horrible, and none of them would ever imagine going through the same. For this purpose, they declined giving us an interview.
I don't have any information. All I knew, I gave to the mother, to the police who was talking to. I have nothing. And as much as I'd like to help, as much as I'd like to help, sidhani kama niko comfortable kupeana statement yenye tena to the public, because I don't have any new information. I knew the roommate stuff peke yake. I don't know anything else.
Or you just knew as a roommate?
Nothing else.
You never met the guy, the suspect Carlton?
No. I need to clear. We never talked about any guy she was seeing.
Yes.
Her friends were in the dark. I was also in the dark.
She never mentioned like the previous boyfriend was pursuing her.
I used to hear about Kevin.
Yes.
Me personally.
Hujawahi sikia amekuja huko kumtembelea?
No, na hadi kama amekuja sikumwona.
On the type of a person Rita was?
Rita was okay. She was just like any other person, any other girl, normal student, that's all. Yes, and number 3 hapo tafadhali.
This voice is of Rita's longtime friend.
Because you know the story that some people are putting out there is that it was because of money, but it was more of like a normal case of someone being a victim, like falling victim into someone maybe you thought you could trust. The guy had been talking to her for some time, I think 2 months, so that he social, and by how she talked about him, it was more alcohol, and she felt safe around the person. Yeah, it wasn't that a stranger at his because of money. Those stories have been between a human people are talking at the normal Judah girl. It was like just falling victim.
So even you never knew about this guy, you didn't meet?
I got to Samanga Juju, I'm talking to this guy, you know.
Did she mention jamaa anafanya kazi wapi?
But now that's the part she never really mentioned. Got to kazi your office or something like that.
That's what he had done now. The details are so blurry that even pointing like how is it connected dots in any way.
Her friends revealed Rita shared very little about the suspect, and she probably did not know he would one day harm her.
She was a victim. I'm pretty sure she didn't expect fight on a normal nights, normal day. She was a victim. Plain.
There is a request for investigators to keenly examine the mentioned Rita's ex-boyfriend and the source of any previous threats against her life. Another appeal is for investigators to thoroughly probe circumstances under which Rita met the said Carlton mine at Magharibi Place in Nairobi West.
I thought there are professionals who can best handle these things. And even in my layman's point of view, obviously, this is a person of interest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but listening to those different accounts and just watching that story, you cannot escape without feeling something in your heart, really. Now, I'll have you know that that is merely part one of that story. What do you think? What is your memory of that event? How did you feel? What did you think about the process of investigation and so on? Let us know all that. I can see some of you have been sending in your feedback. The SMS number is on your screen. The WhatsApp number is on your screen. And the call-in number is also on your screen. Pick up your phone, give me a call. I'll answer live and direct. Let's talk about this, good people. Let's talk about this. What's happening to our society? What's happening to our people? What's happening to our children? What does this make you feel? Do you have children, daughters, sons, school-going age, university age? What does this story make you feel like? Pick up the call. Give me a call. Let's have a conversation about this. I can see Alex from Ahero. Alex Onkoba from Ahero, you have a different comment from what happened before. You said the government has failed to give proper guidelines of the opening of schools since most schools are makeshift refugee camps. And at least the school's opening should be extended by a month. This is Alex Onkoba from Ahero. These are your views. We also have other people here. Earlier on, we sampled the views of Leonard from Isli, who says schools are ready to start in his area. Thomas Onunda, watching from Makueni County, is telling us that schools will be open on Monday. And now I'm told we have a call. Who's calling? Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, sir.
Talk to me, sir. What did you feel when you saw this story?
When I heard about this story, about Rita's mother, I was so touched. It is us in the part of the parents that were failing to guide our children.
Right.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
I'm saying it's us, the parents that are failing. We should be the one who are guiding our kids when they're away from us in school. We should be always in touch with them. We should be the ones who tell them that the kind of children, the kind of friends to choose.
Right.
And those not. Hello.
Right, sir. And if I can hear you correctly, you're saying we need to guide our children to choose their friends wisely. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your comment, and I wish you a good night. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Right, the calls are coming in, the messages are coming in. Please let us know your name and where you're calling us from and what your message is. Sorry, who's calling? All right. And by the way, I think the phone call just dropped. The video that you just watched is part 1. Good people, there is more. More from Francis Wala on this very story. Coming up right after this, part 2 is coming. But first, let us know where you're watching us from and what were your sentiments upon watching that video. I can see the messages are coming in. I can see some of you are choosing to text. You can text via SMS. You can send in your WhatsApp message. The WhatsApp number is on your screen right now. Or you could call in live. The number is right here. Right here. The number is right there. Now, I am told a gentleman by the name of Collins Baraza from Nakuru. Hello, Collins. How are you?
How are you, my brother?
I'm very, very good. Thank you so much for calling. How is Nakuru?
Nakuru is okay, but floods everywhere.
Oh, terribly sorry to hear that. But tell us, Collins, what are your views when you heard or even viewed this story that we just aired?
My observation goes to parents.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our children are misbehaving because of parents. Hello, are you getting me? Are you getting me, my brother?
Yes, I can hear you, Collins. You're telling the parents that some of the children are misbehaving because of the parents. Tell us why.
The reason is, okay, just an example.
Yes, please.
If your child get out of the house,
yes,
anafanya vitu zingine za ajabu.
Mm-hmm.
And then the child will come back. Alafu anakwambia dadi ama mami nimetoka mahali fulani, na wewe kama mzazi, sensi yako kama mzazi imeona kwamba huyu mtoto kuna kitu ananidanganya. Alafu unawacha kumkosoa mtoto kama mzazi. At the end of the day, you will blame yourself.
All right, Collins. Thank you so much for that point. It's a very, very critical point. Parents should be alert to the inner sense that tells them whether or not their children are telling the truth. Thank you, Collins, for that. Allow me to just sample a few more comments. Courier Pauline says, this is so sad, obviously. So someone called Sticker says, it's so unfortunate that it's taking so long for the truth to come out. We hope justice will prevail. Somebody else called Njoro says, I think the young generation needs to learn how to handle relationships and know the ones to mingle with. That is Njoro. James Kiradhi, watching from Muranga County, says, it's extremely unfortunate, very unfortunate. May God be our guide. Thank you, Kiradhi. Somebody else here by the name The Duke. Actually, Mwangangi the Visionary, you say, Rita's case, we believed in the DCI to probe the victims. It's a case that needs deep concern. Let parents have time with their children. We are in a society where our friends could be the devil. All right, somebody says, somebody called Magare says, hello, Mr. Victor. On Rita's case, I think Rita's friend and ex-boyfriend should be investigated further. This is Magare Peter from Mokonge village in Kisii County. How's it going down there? Somebody else, Mike from Kakamega, says that sincerely the brutal murder of Rita shocked us. How on earth can someone murder a fellow human being in such a manner? This is Mike from Kakamega. I'm going to sample a few of your views, but there's somebody joining us from Vihiga. Good evening, Ovendi. How are you doing? Talk to us. What is your message?
Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, my name is Josiah.
Yes, Josiah, talk to us. What's your message?
Yeah, I was actually talking about the expose that I've seen.
Yes, sir.
About the lady that was brutally killed.
Yes, sir.
And for sure, the story is happening. I do not want to put a judgment. I don't want to put any judgment to the late.
Yes, sir.
But looking at the story and looking at how the parents are feeling, it is something that we need to learn.
Right.
And people need to know that associations are there. You do not have to kill someone so that you achieve your goals.
All right.
And therefore, my message to the parents of the late is we are keeping them in prayer at this point of time.
All right.
I have seen the mother really down. I've seen the father down.
Okay.
And losing a child is something very painful. It is not something that someone will be able to feel good about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Josiah, and thank you for the first time somebody is actually extending care and compassion to the parents. Thank you, Josiah from Vihiga. We have Vincent from Kisii who says, commenting on schools, kindly in Kisii and Western region, let schools resume because something is going to happen to these kids. Charlotte from Rongai, you say this story is really, really sad. Augustine from Bungoma says, Rita's murder should remind all university girls to be wise when choosing company. Orodi wa Mubweka from Busia, you say, what happened to the little girl is so heartbreaking. May God give closure to the family. Somebody else here, Mbotella, you say, we need to raise our children with godly values and we need to choose our friends carefully. Somebody here by the name of G, you say this was the saddest thing you've ever heard in your life. You still don't understand why somebody would do that. Christine Mudhoni, you say, what a sad story you've watched this evening. No parent should go through that. Carol Mwende from Syokimau, such a sad story. Thank you, Carol, for that comment. There's so many of you. Christian from Nairobi, John from Jogoo Road, Kareem from Mountain View. We've got Kamau watching from Doni. We've got Elton Emmanuel. We've got Maureen. We've got Claire from Muranga, Lucy from Rongai, Jeremy, and so many more. Thank you for that. Now, as your comments keep coming in, I'm sure you need to watch part 2. Part 2 starts now.
It took 2 months of vigorous planning after the suspect had met Rita and taken her Instagram account. That is when he texted her for the very first time on October 2nd, 2023. This will be his first step in his evil plot of terminating the life of this little girl. Their conversation this period was like any other conversation. The master, who knew what he was up to, he would play innocent and carefully avoided leaving any trace or making contact that perhaps would expose him.
It's obvious that this was somebody on a mission, and so he was discreet.
He kept their conversation on the pseudo Instagram account. He never shared his pictures with the girl, and neither did they ever take any video or photograph together. None of Rita's friends and family knew about the man. In his Instagram account, he did not post anything.
The first introduction, he said the family lives in Karen, but he had a house in Ruaka.
Investigators revealed the same time he is said to have met Rita for the first time within Nairobi West. The yet-to-be-identified evil monster was a regular visitor at the spot the two met. Before the tragic meetup where he is accused to have killed Rita in cold blood at this greenhouse apartment, statements from the Airbnb owner revealed the two had met here twice before the cold blood killing of January 13th.
I was not aware if indeed she had any relationship with the suspect.
Detailed analysis of events suggests the suspect visited this greenhouse Airbnb along TRM Drive on 7th and 13th of November 2023. During the same period, the suspect is said to have invited Rita for another meetup at the 4 West Junction along Kiambu Road. On this occasion, the girl arrived at 4 West Junction and waited for the man, but he was a no-show. As Rita got back home, a non-Magas riding on a motorcycle snatched her mobile phone. The phone has never been traced. Rita got home and accessed her Instagram account using another mobile phone at their home. She contacted him through Instagram and informed him of the unfortunate news.
From the conversation, they had met twice. And then the third time was this time when the man never turned up. Then the fourth time was the fateful night.
He told the girl her parents would buy her another mobile phone.
Waeni was using a home's phone where she had logged in her IG. And for that reason, we were able to see the kind of chats that they had with Carlton since October, up to the time she went to TRM.
Questions now emerge if he was linked to this robbery as a way of accessing Rita's mobile phone and erasing data before executing his vicious plan. After this incident, the suspect lured Rita into her final trap. He again contacted her through her Instagram account and initiated a meetup. He wanted to know if there was a possibility of them meeting or there were no such plans. Rita responded by saying she did not have enough money as she had spent what she had to pay for her Uber as she went about her business in the course of the day. His response was short, "Okay then." Rita continued telling the suspect she had injured herself after a minor accident while at Juja, but he was not concerned. His fixation with Rita became even more, one message after the other. He convinced her by telling her he had plans of traveling to Tanzania. He further said he was not sure if the next weekend he would be around. Rita insisted she did not have enough money to enable her meet him. Unbothered, the suspect continued inquiring if he was seeing her the next day.
The reason of meeting is he told her he's getting a transfer to go work in like Tanzania for months. So like maybe the last time.
Even from the conversation, Waeni could say that she's using her own money. Anytime she was going anywhere, whatever little that we were giving her, that was what she was using. So there was no any benefit that monetary that she got or any gift, there was nothing.
He requested her to let him know her stand about the intended meeting. After this relentless texting, she accepted and agreed to come for a sleepover. Uncertain about her response, he required her to confirm her presence so as they could set the ground. He also wanted to know how long was it going to take Rita to get to Nairobi CBD from where she was. He then advised her to leave her place at around 3 p.m. She told him she could confirm about the timings the following day since people were already asleep and she needed permission. This fueled his desire in meeting the girl. He wanted the feedback the next day as early as 7 a.m. That morning, she texted him good morning and the conversation continued.
Were you ever aware that your daughter was seeing someone who they were just having a conversation through an online platform, perhaps the Instagram?
I knew there was a person, and the person was Carlton Maina. But the platform or the conversation or the communication that they were doing, I didn't know through what.
It's not really commonplace for parents to follow up on every other social aspect of their children, especially at that age. We may not have found it necessary until this happened.
When all was said and done, Rita texted her aunt saying she had left the house to meet the man for dinner.
I left her in the house. It was during 3 p.m. is when she sent me a text.
Her aunt notified Rita's mother.
I called her. We talked. Then she told me that there was a friend who was leaving the country. They are going to have an early dinner at TRM, and from there, we never talked again.
Rita then left their Syokimau home at around 3 p.m. on 13th January 2024, never to return.
She was a good girl, very bright, well disciplined, and she respected us as parents a lot.
Here is Rita's aunt, who alongside her mother did not want their identity revealed when we interviewed them.
When I received the message, I realized that she had already left the house. So I communicated to the mother to find out about it. Then I was assured that she was okay. Then I let her go.
Did you ever talk to her after that, or that was the last conversation?
That was the last conversation. I did not call her.
Surveillance cameras at the Syokimau residence captured Rita wearing a white trouser, black boots and a small bag as she stepped out of their gate, perhaps bidding her family goodbye.
She ever mentioned that she was having a conversation with this person, and maybe you developed the interest to know how were they faring on, what were they discussing about, and the mode of communication they were having?
The fateful day, I even asked about me knowing the Carlton. And she was so precise to tell me, eventually, Mom, you'll come to know this person. And there was nothing much that was happening in between them, so there was no need for introducing the person to me.
At this time, the suspect became sure when the girl told him she was on her way. After waiting for her progress without success, he told her she was playing with him. Without thinking through the statement, Rita told him she was almost. Now so sure of everything, the suspect responded by saying he was on his way within Thome and he had put on white shoes. He, however, warned Rita to wait for him at the stage at Thika Road Mall entrance and not to leave until he was there to pick her physically. This sounded suspicious to Rita.
There were some red flags, which I think to her she never noticed. When my daughter was explaining to her and telling her matatu inaenda polepole, alimwandikia akamwambia, msichana unacheza na mimi. Waeni feels we should not meet because it is raining, but he says no, it is going to stop raining.
The next thing, the two were spotted by surveillance cameras at around 6:30 p.m. walking along TRM Drive in Roysambu. It is assumed they were going to their already booked short-stay apartment. This was the last time Rita was seen alive and in the company of the suspect.
I've raised her from day one up to the last time when she was seen alive.
As per the last seen theory in law, it is always assumed if a person is last seen with a victim before a crime occurs, there is strong presumption that they are responsible for the crime committed.
Do you suspect it was a crime of passion?
The guy never expressed any form of intimacy, but you know, for girls, they will feel they would trust a person. So my daughter had already trusted Carlton, and that is why she had to go for the dinner.
In the video, the determined man seems to be convincing Rita just to ensure she does not change her mind. Unknown to her, this was one last moment she had to save her life. Minutes later, she was brutally murdered, and the Grim Reaper was nowhere to be seen.
What do you know about the suspect?
I've only seen him through the media, CCTV footages, but personally I've never seen him.
The only evidence police are relying on is this CCTV footage we obtained from a local shop along the famous TRM drive, showing Rita and the suspect walk together moments before her dismembered body was discovered. That brought an end to a life that was merely treasured.
Our academic journey was cut short in such a manner.
Asubuhi nikiamka, nikitaka kufanya usafi, nikifika hapo chini nikapata paper bags zimekuwa wrapped. Sikuwa wrapped, nikishika nikasikia kama mwili, ikabidi nipigie mwenye amekodesha nyumba.
This man is the one who made the huge discovery that will then shock the world. He is the caretaker at the apartment where Rita was killed and part of her disfigured body dumped. The discovery made him notify the owner of the house, who then alerted police from Kasarani police station.
I was very surprised kulingana na chenye niliona. Nikibeba nikaona kama damu, nikampigia kuje, nikaconfirm, kapata ni kama ilikuwa kwake. Then they involved police.
Investigators rushed to the crime scene holding their breath. On arrival, they unwrapped the black paper bags only to encounter shock of their life. A woman's body with a badly slit neck, disfigured leg joints and the head missing, had been well wrapped in bed sheets and packaged in the paper bags.
Mwili uliipata wapi na ilikuwa imefungwa vipi?
Hapo tu chini ya stairs imefungwa kwa paper bag ya black, then imefungwa na curtain ya white.
It was depressing to see such a soul lie in such a state. The desolate image of the mutilated body is still fresh on my mind as one of the first responders to the crime scene.
Na mwili vile polisi wameutoa umekosa parts gani?
Kichwa hakuna. Miguu zote mbili zimekatwa, ziko kando kando, then from here to hapa hizo zimewekwa kwa jwala moja, mguu moja side moja side moja.
The discovery left everyone shattered. Who had done this? Everyone was curious. The identity of the deceased became the first point of concern to investigators.
Mtu yote ambaye ana operate BNB bila CCTV camera, kitu kama hiki kifanyika, next time we'll take action against that person.
The house in which the gruesome killing had taken place had been thoroughly cleaned and arranged, leaving little or no traces at the crime scene. Even though Edmund Lockhart said every contact leaves a trace and there is no perfect crime, this looked like one. As I read this story, memories of the horrific crime scene have remained stuck on my mind. The mutilated and blood-spattered image of the young woman keeps reoccurring whenever I remember the suspect is still at large and police are pursuing him. While at the crime scene, I interrogated one neighbor who saw the suspect access the house before committing the beastly act.
So mimi nikifunga mlango kuangalia my left side, kulipigia kuna hiyo nyumba, tukaangalia na huyo jamaa pia alikuwa anafunga mlango, alikuwa amevaa miwani, tukiangaliana alikuwa amebeba I think ni pombe kwa bahasha. Vile ndio maana mimi nikiteremuka.
Ni mtu unaweza kumbuka ukimwona?
Mtu nikimwona hivi sura naweza muona, alikuwa mkubwa, si mrefu sana, si mdark, chocolate kiasi.
Na msichana ulimuona kweli?
Sikumwona.
The deceased body was collected and taken to the city mortuary and booked as that of an unknown person. The owner of the Airbnb will be arrested as part of the probe. She revealed she was contacted by the suspect using this Airtel line 0101 053854. Our investigations reveal indeed the suspect was in contact with the Airbnb owner on Saturday at around 3 p.m. The phone signal was traced to Ruaka before he made the call. In her statement, she said she was contacted by the suspect who was in search of accommodation in a short-stay apartment and she offered her services. She directed him to pick keys for the house from this main supermarket. Just at 4:16 p.m., The schemer, who knew what he was doing, also attempted to hide his identity from the lens of the CCTV cameras mounted at the shop. As per the CCTV footage, the suspect is seen walking into the shop, presumably while having a phone conversation with the Airbnb owner. He quickly hands over the phone to the shop attendant as he avoids eye contact. At this time, we are told he made cash payments and was allowed to use the house. As per the CCTV footage, the suspect is seen carrying a bag. Investigators believe he was carrying a hacksaw in the bag. This is believed to have been the weapon he used to dismember the victim's body.
He was somebody who was keen to hide his identity. And why would this happen? And this was even further seen in the manner in which the scene of crime was handled.
That was somebody who knew what he was doing. He was on a mission, and he accomplished his mission.
One mistake that happened was how the suspect was allowed to rent the house for a night out without the owner taking crucial identification documents from him.
Hakuna siku utaruhusiwa kuruhusu mtu aingie ndani bila kuchukua details zake in person. Sawa? Lazima uchukue details za watu wote wahusika. Lazima. It's a must.
Police arrested the Airbnb owner for the mishap, but she was later set free by the courts. Other suspects were also set free for lack of evidence linking them to the murder. From here, the suspect is believed to have proceeded to this house where he had all the time to set the ground as earlier communicated through his text messages. Half an hour past 6 p.m., he proceeded to TRM to pick Rita. On the night the two met, Rita blissfully recorded this small video unaware of the carnage that awaited her. Another costly mistake is how she failed to capture her to-be killer as she did this recording. In no time, the suspect is said to have violently attacked Rita and strangled her a few minutes before midnight. An autopsy report revealed Rita was strangled before her body was disfigured and her head chopped.
The head had been chopped off on the neck at the level of a C5 vertebra. There were bruising on the scalp, which to me looked like caused by a blunt object. And then upon looking at the neck structures, we also saw some fractures of bones, which are usually very important in homicide. So from all this, I can comfortably conclude that what caused the death of that young lady was strangulation, after which she was decapitated and the body dumped.
Our daughter was so innocent. She was a good girl. So we don't know why he did that to her.
Police also believe before the suspect killed Rita, he forcefully obtained her mobile phone's passwords to allow him use Rita's mobile phone even after the cold-blood killing.
Throughout the night, we never communicated. At 5:30 a.m., that is the time I received a message.
The person who sent the message indicated that they were in custody of my daughter.
The suspect used Rita's mobile phone to text her parent through her Airtel line seeking a ransom of 500,000 shillings.
I believe she could have been not alive at the time. Our lines were off, including the Airtel line through which I received the text message.
The messages were sent to Rita's mother and father simultaneously at an interval of 10 minutes. This got them confused.
Every other time I could receive these texts, the phone would still be off. So really, there was no contact, there was no communication at all.
We had started looking for the money so that we can be able to send, because we've seen cases where people are held hostage, and then later on, after the ransom is sent, they are released. Little did we know that our daughter was dead.
The early morning text message came as a shocker.
That is the time now I realized that my daughter was in danger.
They had talked the previous day when Rita mentioned she was to meet a friend for dinner. That would be the last call. Rita's father on his side said they last conversed when Rita was going back to school in January, The same week she was killed, he drove her to Machakos town and wished her well as she embarked on her first semester of her 4-year course.
She called me the following day and indicated that in a day or so she would be visiting Juja, seeking a place to stay for the semester. And I think, unfortunately, that was our last conversation. As a father, I was keen to get a proper education.
That text message forced Rita's parents to leave their Makueni home immediately and rush to Syokimau, where Rita was before she left. While at Syokimau, Machakos County, they made a decision to file a missing person report at Mlolongo Police Station on Sunday the 14th. At around 3 p.m. the same day, a person who was using Rita's Airtel line texted them.
They also sent another message warning us about the 13 remaining hours so that we can be able to send the money.
A little later, I also received another message from the same line indicating that time was running out.
This was crucial for investigators. Police trailed the mobile phone signal to this building along River Road in Nairobi CBD.
At around 10, 11 at night, we were at the city center. They were attempting to see if they could locate that phone. Unfortunately, after a futile search of about 2 or 3 hours, we didn't succeed, and so the police left and we left for home.
As investigations hit up, clues became more baffling. News started reaching them of what had happened at Roysambu along TRM Drive in one of the short-stay apartments. Officers from Kasarani Police Station contacted the family and shared crucial details about an unfortunate incident that had happened within their jurisdiction.
They started calling us from Kasarani, asking us about the boots that she had worn, the kind of hairstyle that she had. We started connecting that could be Waeni, because they tried to cut her hair.
Monday morning, Rita's parents were so sure their daughter didn't stand a chance.
We had already known that our daughter had gone to TRM, where she was, and we suspected that she was the girl that they were talking about in the news. So Monday by 10, so we could not send the money because we had already known that she was not there.
They went straight to the city mortuary to confirm their worst fears. They stumbled on a mutilated human body that was kept in one of the shelves at the city morgue. It was cold and in a sorry state.
Unfortunately, I identified that this could be our child. From our clothing and another possible identification we could do.
We could not believe that it was her. I don't know. I cannot explain. Lakini ilikuwa unyama wa hali ya juu.
It was devastating. It was heart-wrenching and most uncomfortable. It wasn't good at all.
Drastically and in a tragic way, investigations will quickly take a sharp twist and change from a missing person to a homicide investigation.
We had to contend with that harsh reality. Now this matter moved from Mlolongo Police Station, of course, because this event took place within Kasarani.
Investigators at Kasarani Police Station were now pursuing all crucial leads to apprehend people behind this.
Despite the gravity of this matter, we needed to arrange a burial for our child once we had all the body intact.
Police also focused on tracing Rita's head.
Of immediate concern was if this body part could be found and reunited with the rest of the body.
Monday at 6 p.m., even after the unfortunate development, a person who was in possession of Rita's mobile phone was still nagging her family.
Even after we had identified the body from City Mortuary, the suspects were still sending us messages. And so we expected the action to have been taken, which wasn't.
I responded maybe asking if we could have a contact through which we could discuss this ransom.
So another message comes 6 p.m. in the evening, Monday, that we are supposed to send through Waeni's Safaricom number, the money.
Do you think the investigators failed you?
I don't know what had happened, because every time we received a message, we were communicating to the police and telling them that the phone has been opened, a message has been sent, and we expected them to do something.
I believed that the police had the capacity to trace the phone at such a time before whoever was handling the phone could go so far away. I thought the government machinery would have the capacity to trace such a phone.
Thereafter, Rita's phone was switched off along Kangundo Road, while her Airtel line lost network within Ruaka, and the phone has never been traced.
Later on, I didn't think it was about money. Yeah, because no such opportunity was given to the family as to whether we could raise the money, as to whether we could channel the money. That was not provided at all. So for me, I didn't think it was a serious question of ransom seeking.
During the same time, the suspect changed the name of the Instagram account he was using to communicate with Rita and immediately deleted the account, making it hard to be traced as well.
And they were communicating through his account, which is Carlton Maina. Then that fateful day, the account changed to RCC. And when everything went to the media, the account was pulled off.
The moment you deactivate the account, it becomes very difficult for somebody to be able to trace until such a time that you come back and and activate.
Clinton is an expert in forensic science.
The killer must have left traces that when a competent person, somebody with integrity, a person who is having the proper resources, should be able to find either a DNA profile, fingerprint profile.
This person who did all this also tried to clip up the fingernails for reasons which I might not be able to know. And to us as scientists, when you see fingernails clipped away, we think probably it's a person who tried to hide evidence, so that now we are unable to get his DNA from this victim.
So obviously, whoever committed this crime was keen to ensure that he is not caught. But now, it is now the work of those in that field to unravel such crimes. A crime cannot be said, it's complicated for those who are professionals supposed to handle that. It can only be complicated for laymen.
But what was the motive?
So, whatever the motive, it beats logic, and it was a most unfortunate thing because it had no basis.
And I will pray one day, one time, he's gotten, and you'll explain to us about the motive. Because he was a guy who was on a mission, and he accomplished his own mission.
Why is it that up to now they have not been able to resolve that particular crime?
It's a difficult question. It is also a question I should ask.
Investigators have failed to answer this important question because they do not have a suspect in custody. However, they say they are following crucial leads into this matter with assistance from forensic experts at the DCI laboratory.
Does it mean that such type of killings can happen in our country and the police are not able to solve it?
In one meeting with a director at the DCI actually, he told me that they have the resources and the expertise to handle such matters.
On 21st January 2024, locals spotted a human head floating on the surface of Ite Dam within Kiamba in Kiambu County.
Hii kichwa ni kama imeletwa kutoka mbali.
Nadhani hii kichwa pengine ilitenganizwa na mwili kakuja kutupwa hapa.
There is a big possibility this could have been a hired person. So whoever could have hired this person, if that was the case, needed evidence that this was done. And in so doing, then the body part needed to be disposed of. And that's how it ended up in that dam.
This was unusual because the head was expected to sink.
Whoever was disposing of that body part attached it to a stone. That could imply that he intended the body part to sink at the deepest part of the dam, and that would ensure that such was not recovered.
The head was also wrapped in a purple blouse and it was Rita's head. The silence and quiet nature of this dam is perhaps one of the most crucial leads police are exploring. Unfortunately, without a word, the waters will forever flow with the memories of who killed Rita Waeni. At the time of her death, Rita was a fourth-year student at GOtv and an alumni of Loreto National School.
Every other time I received a report card, she was ever position number 1 in her class. And that's why in class 8, she did very well. During her time, she was the best candidate in this place, in around the sub-county.
During an autopsy exercise on Rita's body, government pathologist Dr. Johansson Odor said he had never encountered such a horrific killing in his practice.
There was disarticulation of the body at the neck, and the head was missing. There was also disarticulation of the body at both legs, whereby someone cut the femur, head of femur, clean, so that now the legs were apart from the trunk. It looked like he knew what to do, because when you look at the skin looked like it was cut with a sharp object. But when you look at the bone, it was sawed off with what looked like a hacksaw. This is the first time I've come across such an incident. I've never, in my forensic life, I've never come across such incidents around.
It is by God that they were not able to dispose of the body as I think they had planned. I think for us, if they had succeeded, possibly we would still be thinking of a missing child.
I cannot explain, lakini ilikuwa unyama wa hali ya juu.
In such a tragic and horrid encounter, the family says they have undergone the most traumatizing agony.
Kama kuna kitu kinaitwa unyama, then that can be defined as that. People who are trying to do things that are made for animals, not human beings.
We have had a difficult time. We have never come into terms, but we are hoping time will heal us.
Rita's mother has never seen her body to date.
I've never even up to date seen Waeni's body physically, but there was a prominent person in the country who put her pictures in X, and as I was browsing, that was like 2 or 3 days after the incident. That is the time now I saw the pictures. It was very wrong, very insensitive, and I didn't understand why he had to do that. And I tried as much as I can, the siblings, not to come across such pictures because they were so traumatizing. And I got an advice from a friend that I was supposed to disable all the media platforms in my phone, and that is what I did. So I never, even the television, we never even opened any channel. We were in the dark.
The manner of the gruesome murder resembled a scene from a horror movie. And as Rita's remains lie somewhere in this compound, her memories live on in the hearts of her loved ones.
He was so close to my son, who talks about her on a daily basis, asking me many questions about her. And I'm trying as much as I can to clarify to him that we will never see Waeni again. We went to GOtv and we took her transcripts from first year to third year. She had done very well. She had never gotten a retake. And for that reason, I sit down and check on her transcripts, and I remember that this was a focused girl, a girl who would be able to do much for the whole world.
After the tragic murder, Rita's aunt had to get tattooed. This tattoo on her hand is the only way to cherish some beautiful moments they shared. It reminds her of the date Rita was killed.
That is the DCI that they are going to work out and find this culprit that who did this. And maybe try to explain to us as family members why he did this to our daughter.
We visited the director, homicide, and his staff. We had a sitting, and then we were promised that this matter would be followed up. But lately, information isn't forthcoming.
Still questioning yourself, will I ever get justice? Because 4 months, it's a long time.
As a family, we are just waiting.
The pain of raising and educating his firstborn child whose life was terminated in the most unimaginable way is huge for him to endure.
Before I even mention my president, I would wish to draw my appeal to, for example, the director at the DCI, the IG, there's also the CS, but I'm also aware that my president is the ultimate authority, and by his word, action can be done. And I'm sure if we got to know about this matter, then obviously action will be taken.
Rita was buried on 14th February 2024 at Mukimwani village in Mboni East, where she was raised since 28 March 2004, but returned here in February 2024, 20 years later as a corpse.
A burial took place, and then at some point we thought that was a good relief. Now what remained was the quest for justice for our child.
We are going to have so many people who are going to suffer the same if Waeni's case does not teach these people a lesson.
Are Kenyans safe, especially in this period of social media and technological advancement? We are safe up to the extent where we comply with the advices, we can comply with the information that we are being given, so that we avoid being a culprit to this particular people.
Her burial ceremony was private. She was laid to rest on the Valentine's Day and a month after her cold-blood killing.
The media were on us, and they had talked so much about Waeni. Little did they know that to me, Waeni was very kind, very innocent, and she was just so naive, just like any other adolescent person.
There is hope one day we will all know what really transpired on 13th January 2024 at this short stay apartment where a precious life was molested and killed in a gruesome manner never witnessed in the country before. This case is still under investigation, awaiting the arrest of this suspect. Franklin Wala for the Crimes Untold.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is the exhaustive and detailed expose on what happened to the late Rita Waeni, or at least what we know so far. It's unfortunate that in this world there will be crimes that will happen from time to time, but you can rest assured that when those crimes happen, sooner rather than later, Crimes Untold from the home of Untold Stories will be there to bring you the details, such as we have today with Frank Wala and the team. Thank you so much for joining us. We have so much in way of messages that have come in. Allow me to sample just a few as we lay this matter to rest for the time being. Josephine Claire Wangari, you say you're from Ranga, and this is a very sad story. Rita was such a beautiful girl and she did not deserve it. May the family find justice. Wangare from Limuru, you say this is so sad. To Rita's parents, may God show you mercy and give you peace. Wangare from Limuru. Terry from Buruburu, you say this was a really, really tragic story. From what you can decipher, she was a girl raised in a good home with a right upbringing, but campus has its ways, is what you say. That's Terry from Buruburu. Somebody else, Mobisa Peter, you say this is absolutely heartbreaking and a touching expose perpetrated by over crime perpetrated by a callous criminal. Your message is that it's high time that people. You have a message for university students to have friends or to have acquaintances or somebody who should be able to offer scrutiny. This is Peter Mobisa from Kampala, Uganda. We should be able to, and then you also say that parents should be able to look out for their children. 5 from Murang'a County say it's a murder that hit so hard. We hope that justice shall be served. That is 5. Somebody else, Wes, from, you don't say where you're from, but you say you think it's a conspiracy and may justice prevail. Bridget from Embu, you say this is so heartbreaking. We need to choose our friends wisely. Zippy from Kisi, you say the story is really, really sad and we should really choose friends wisely as well. Pamphil Omondi, you say it's unfortunate and it's important to introduce friends to family and family to friends and whatnot. Dennis Kialo from Committee, you say it's a sad story indeed. No one has any right to terminate somebody else's life. Let the DCI do their level best to end this case and others. Joel from Kasarani, same things. You said you were very scared by this story, that anyone can fall prey to this and we should cut off some friends. That is Joel from Kasarani. Juma Michael as well. You've got your comment here. You say it's about friends that we should choose wisely. Somebody else here, you haven't left your name. Your name is SK, such a sad story. Kelvin Chinungo, Nisha from Naivasha, Valerie from Nyeri, as well as, who's this? Esther Tatu in Embakasi, Faith from Machakos, Jeremy as well, Lucy from Rongai, and so many. Maureen from Kimbo, all of these people, Kareem from Mountain View, and finally, but not least, John from Jago Road and Christian from Nairobi. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback on our platforms. Mlumbi Oma Wycliffe from Lubinu, and finally, Sneezeby from Mbita. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Victor Moyakane. And from the team that made this a reality, from our directors, our producers, our camera people, our reporters, our editors, and indeed all our technical personnel that brought this to you, we want to say thank you for choosing us to inform you. Good night, and may God bless you.